right. Okay, I think I'm live now. And just want to give some people time to get connected. I got some stuff to share. My new single, With You, is available. And I have the video. I got the new video that is available that you can check out. And I'm going to try to share this link right here so you can go check it out. And yeah, it's pretty cool. My man Daniel Pardo hooked it up. All right. So yeah, I'll post this here in Facebook so you can see it. And then what I'll do is go to YouTube and post it there. I'm live in different places. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, I'll post it there. I know sometimes it'll be a while before I get over there to the comments, but let me just post it here. I'm in Facebook right now. So I hope everybody is doing well. And I know I'm overdue for some lessons. I definitely got some lessons to share with you so that for the Jazz Webshed viewers, for those who are wanting to get more instructional material, it's coming. I just been busy with gigs and family stuff and trying to get this single out and working on things for that. Marketing is the thing, you know. Marketing. It's one thing to do a project or to do the music, but once it's done, you know, you gotta you gotta promote what you got. You gotta share it with people so that you know they'll be able to get it. And so I have a couple of people on my team that help me with these processes, and I'm still working on creating, putting together a calendar really with release, you know, pertaining to releasing the music and also marketing it once it's released. And then I got to do things like these, you know, the Facebook Lives and YouTube Lives, just so I can let the different audiences know, because it's people who are following what's going on these different platforms. And you know, it's important to get a chance to share on these different platforms to let the different audiences know. And so I appreciate your support. I appreciate you for connecting with me here. And definitely going to be doing more of these and want to continue to keep you inspired and keep sharing new things with you. All right. So I'm just sharing the link. If you're on YouTube, you can follow me on Facebook or check out Facebook, and you'll definitely be able to get to the link. Okay, I know what I can do. So we did a performance. I can talk while I do this. We did a performance on Sunday. It was actually pretty nice. We were at Louis Bar, piano bar in Deep Ellum, and I played with Cornell Gaskin, phenomenal piano player. and I also play with JT and friends. So JT is a great drummer. He currently is playing with Snarky Puppy, and yeah, so they just recorded a record. He was telling us about it on the gig, a few weeks back, and but yeah, it was a good gig playing with JT. We were able to play a couple of my songs, and the bass player that plays with us is DeMarcus Walker Jr., and he's phenomenal. He has his own record, and I was able to record on one of those songs, Feed the Meter, that's on his record, Salt and Light. And so we played, I can turn this up if it's a little low. But yeah, we played DeMarcus's tunes and Eric Willis, great piano player. He played with us, and we played one of his tunes, Stop Chopatulas. And so, yeah, we did that. It's a nice tune with second line groove. And well, who else? Yeah, it was a quartet. And so that was fun. We got a chance to really stretch. And playing with Cornell is good. It's definitely fun. He has some great music, and I think it was very refreshing for the people to experience it. I know when we first got together and practicing and everything, it is always cool to go over the music and have those rehearsals with Cornell. Ah, yeah, that's super loud now. So, let's see. Oh, okay. I turned up the EWI. That's why I needed to turn up the microphone. So I'm up here on the EWI 5000. Okay, so that should be better. All right, so yeah, that Aerophone, messing around with the Aerophone, it really inspired me to. I mean, I always play the EWI, but really to dig more into playing using the MIDI to control, using the EWI to control MIDI. So. So one of the things that I had to do when I got the EWI is to get the settings together. And I'm still trying to get that volume. Oh yeah, let's try. Yeah, that's better. Okay. I had to adjust the volume for the for what setting was that under? Breath sensitivity. All right. It is kind of warm in here, so I can turn this off a second. All right. Okay, I think that's better. I'm gonna mess with this. It doesn't need to distort, so let me turn. Let me turn this down on here. All right, turn it down a little bit more. That's better. Okay, cool. I think I got it adjusted right. That's one of the things you have to do once you get it. What's going on, Arthur Maury? What's up? I'm good. Let me see. I'm going to pull this over here. And let me apologize. I know I kind of do stuff willy-nilly or off the cuff, and sometimes I have you waiting while I'm fiddling through stuff. I'm getting better and better. You know, I'm trying to be more consistent with doing these streams. So sometimes I run into some technical issues and trying to figure out some stuff as I go, but it'll get better and better. Glad you are doing some eWeave sessions. Okay, like what you're doing. I appreciate it, man, with your channel. Oh, man, that's encouraging. Appreciate you. I'm trying to be consistent with it and just share. So one of the things on this flute sound, the glide, it's not one of those that you would have a glide on, but if it was on like a more synthesizer sound, you know, a lead, it sounds good. I probably could. Yeah, the glide is okay on this one. Huh. So it sounds good on that patch, but on flute, you know, the settings I'd have to change. That's 87, by the way. We did angelic. We did angelic on the gig, so that was fun. That was fun to do. I played the eWeave 4000 on that one. I could have played the 5000, but on the record I played the 4000. So that's what I did. Yeah, so I'm live, and if you're tuning in on the Jazz Webshed station, I just wanted to go live and share about my share about my new single that's available. Yeah. So Instinct, I'm looking on YouTube. It says, yeah, Bob Reynolds is in there. Good vlogs. Yeah, I like his stuff. He's definitely doing a great job. I mean, his production, his video format, I really like it. You know, it's nice. I'm getting there. You know, I got a lot of work to do. That's the thing about the internet and like now the vibe in terms of what you should do, what you should be doing as an artist. It's like the bar is so much more higher. Not just in the sense of the playing, but your whole presentation, your production. Because what I mean by that, like you can put out an audio track but you got to have a video, a music video. And then if you do a music video, then you got to have your social media chops together. So, and all of that stuff is like, man, it's a lot to do. And then, of course, you got to, as you grow, you got to get a team of people, assistants, and, people to help you with this stuff, because otherwise you'll bottleneck, And, of course, I've done that. But thank goodness now I got, some people who help me with my online stuff, And so, because emails have to go out. And a lot of this stuff, I know for some out there, y'all don't really know what all it is, it takes. Because for me, I am a teacher offline. I teach at my studio, and then I also teach at the school that I teach at. I'm an artist in residence at. And so I have a combo, and then I have also have a membership site. So I do master classes every Tuesday for that for those members of Texas Tenor Music Academy. And so with that going on, I do play gigs, and so people want me to also lay stuff for their tracks, on their tracks. So I'll record horns and do arrangements and stuff like that, and then I have to come up with program for my students for performances. So it's a lot of stuff to do. And then online, you have people like yourself who enjoy just the channel, whether it be Facebook or whether it be on YouTube. And so I have to be consistent with putting things out for you. And this is all stuff that I enjoy, because I enjoy sharing. I enjoy sharing the music and being a blessing to people. And so, people like you look forward to more stuff coming out through my channel. And so with all of what's going on offline, I'm working to keep things consistent online as well. And as I do this, of course, I inspire other musicians and other artists who are looking to do a lot of the same things, or some of the things that I do. And I'm not saying I've arrived or I'm all that or got it together. It's more so of a thing that I was fascinated with, and so I just followed that, and it took me or brought me to this place to where I'm able to reach people through the internet, through YouTube, social media, Facebook, and Instagram, and those things. Just sharing my story, sharing instructional things, and just being a mentor for a lot of people around the world that I wouldn't have access to just here locally. And so, it's a journey, and it takes some time, thinking about that. I did a book a couple years ago. It's a trip how, time flies. And this is called The Christian Musician: Learn What Your Real Gift Is and How to Succeed With and Beyond Your Music. And so it was really on my heart to write this book. And so I wrote it, and I was really, researching and getting some perspective about the mindset, and even just from experience myself and seeing other musicians, seeing their struggles with when they want to pursue music, and then what they're told as they grow, they've grown up. A lot of them have heard that, if they're really good, say, oh, you got a gift, you need to be on the world stage, you need to be playing all over the world and doing all of that. And so when you hear that as a child over and over as you grow, and people say, oh, he's just gifted. So psychologically, you'll really believe that that's all you're supposed to do is just play music. And so when you get older, from having subscribed to that mentality or that mindset for yourself, when you get older, you'll run into a lot of struggles, because you expect other people to do all of these other things for you while you just focus on the music. And especially when we look at artists or listen to music as a kid, we grow up, we listening to the music, and so we got this perception, oh man, they're living it. They're just producing music and playing and traveling. That's all they're doing. That's what I want to do. And so it's kind of, it's not kind of, it is selfish, and you realize it. A lot of times, cats don't even realize it. I didn't realize it, but it takes someone who you can be accountable to, or like a mentor, your father, or a pastor, or somebody who will look after your soul and come to you and tell you, hey, you need to get this together. You are a man. You are a human being first. The music is just an avenue. That's one of the main points that I make in the book. It's just an avenue by which your giftedness is displayed through. And so I talk about how David, in the Bible, he was known as one of the greatest kings of all times of Israel. And so, but the thing about David, to be a king, you have to be a good leader. And so one of the gifts he had was administration, and that's listed as a gift in the Bible. And he was also a musician, so he was a really good musician in addition to being a great king. Now, we know the story. He did do some things that wasn't so good. He had Uriah killed, Bathsheba's husband, so that he could be with her. And then, of course, he had to suffer for it. No matter what, reaping, and you're going to reap from what you sow. And he did repent. He turned, he changed his mind, changed his heart. So he did make mistakes. But my point is, I wanted to point out like how God was able to use David as being one of the greatest kings of all time. But he was a musician too, and his music was able to be used in the Bible with the Psalms. You know what I'm saying? So my point and what I gained from looking at David and just from my experience growing up, I learned that first of all, God loves us for who we are, not for what we do. The world will love you for what you do and not care about who you are. That's why a lot of musicians, a lot of celebrities or actors and stuff like that, their persona is love. The industry loves the persona of what you can offer the industry, but they don't care about who you are. That's why a lot of times these same people are struggling with drugs and addictions and things like that, because, it's kind of like they are being used for their talent and their ability, because they believed that that's what, quote unquote, God called them to do. Whereas in the beginning, when God created us, he created man and woman. And then after that came the children. He had dominion. Adam had dominion on the earth, and God created Eve from him. And then later they had kids. Of course, Cain killed Abel, but then God had to come through Seth to create another lineage. So that's a whole nother story. But what I wanted to point out is the family. The family is very important. So we're leaders, as men, and we have to be the providers, protectors, and priests of our home. So that's first and foremost. So as a musician, a lot of times cats believe that they're just supposed to be playing and being a therapist for everybody, And now, don't get me wrong, music can be used and is used for therapy and to make people feel good, bad, and different things. And so it does operate under the gift of helps, because it does help people. It can encourage people. Now, I'm not wanting to get deep into, how music influences people. I'm just talking about just being able to rightly divide what you're actually dealing with as a musician, because you have, you got your musical talent, and you can be fascinated by the aesthetics of the music, and you enjoy the different styles and the different phrasing and the different techniques that go into music. That's me. I got into it. I got into jazz when I was a kid because it was fascinating. It was hard, and it wasn't the format that came on the radio where you could sing the melodies per se. It was some other stuff going on that I didn't understand. Yeah, improvising and all of that. When I heard let me put it on a different one. I'll give you an example right quick because it was an album that I heard. I'm going to get to the comments. I know people are commenting, but I'm just talking through. But I wanted to give you an example. So, for instance, when I was, man, I was a 13, 14, something like that maybe, my brother we was at Sound Warehouse, and I saw this brother with a high top, something like that, and he had this tenor in his hand. And I was like, that looks like a cool album. I'm going to get it. And so I got it, and it was actually Joshua Redmond's I Wish. And so I think the first song is it on there. Now I'm messing up, but you hear something like that, it's like, what is that? It don't make sense, because my mind was conditioned to hear, stuff like that, Kenny G, stuff that you could sing. And so I was like, what's going on there? So it took me a while. I had to buy some other albums, John Coltrane's ballads and different things, just to understand what was going on within the jazz style. And so over time, I learned smooth jazz. I learned straight ahead jazz. I got deep into learning Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Johnny Griffin, Sonny Rollins, Sonny Stitt, Oscar Peterson, Red Garland, Phineas Newborn, Stanley Turrentine. I studied this music real deep. And so I remember one time when I was younger, I found out that, John Coltrane, for instance, was really respected for being one who was let's see, how can I say? He was an explorer and really one who took it to the max and extreme with his practicing, and like spiritually, he was like the man who really was really highly recognized for his contribution to jazz and really searching and reaching with his music. And so I was like, I want to do that. I want to be like that. But I want to do it, for the Lord, And so, there's a difference between me and John Coltrane. John Coltrane, he grew up in the church, and he incorporated a lot of his experience coming up in the church, and his grandfather and different people who, were part of the church that influenced his plan. So I always wanted to do that and be like that. And then I had a teacher who told me, when you play, you're like a preacher, And so jazz as in and of itself, like the tradition comes out of the church, and a lot of the early black musicians who were, a product of the church, they would just use these songs and the way that they were formatted and how they would improvise, and even the call and response thing, a lot of that comes from the church. And so it was there in the music. I remember it was an album where John Coltrane did, where he was imitating speaking in tongues. And so, all of that is in the music. So I was wanting to do that. Of course, once I got a little more informed and I found out what the other side of the coin and what was being implemented into the music, that came from another source. You got two different sides of this spiritual journey. You got God side, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and then on the other side you got Satan and demon spirits. And so what I learned is music is a medium that, based on what's in your heart and who you choose to yield your heart too, then spiritually, whatever's out there is going to come through you as a vessel, so you got to be very careful on, the type of things that you allow yourself to be open to. And music is one of those things. It's a universal language. It's stuff that that we like, certain things, feels, and different things that we like that we can get a bond with. But you got to be careful and mindful of who that person is that's creating that music. Who are they in allegiance to? So you have to be mindful of that. And of course, people can do stuff to pull in spiritual stuff that you'll receive, if you have an affinity for that. And so, making a long story short, I talk about some of that stuff in here in the book. I didn't go that deep into the side of just the good and evil spirits and stuff that can flow through music. I know a lot of people are fascinated with that. And, there is some resources out. You have EX Ministries who covers a lot, dealing with the hip hop side of things. And also you got Good Fight Ministries, which covers, a lot on the rock and roll side. But I mean, it's there in jazz too. It's there. It's not just music with words. It's just music, period. Now, and that's a lot to unpack. That's a lot to talk about, and it's fascinating. But the main thing is you want to be able to rightly divide things, and don't let the music become an idol. Know that it's a tool that can be used to influence people and to shape culture. It can be used to manipulate. The more skilled you get on the instrument, you really learn how to I don't like to say control, but I guess you could control the body. You can control people's mind and emotions with the instrument, and that's why the devil gets in there and uses it a lot, because the Bible mentions him as being a musician and having instruments built into his body. So, but yeah, I went deep into some of that stuff. So that's for somebody. I just wanted to share a little bit. I can't stay on here long. I just really wanted to promote my new single. So the link, if you're on YouTube, I put it on YouTube. You can check out that link there. And then if you're on Facebook, I pinned the link to in a comment. I'm on live here. Okay, she got some food for me. So one of the things that you can do is go check out that link. Click on the link, and it'll take you to the place where you can see the new music video of "With You," and it's just an expression of me. The whole standpoint is like a child, wanting to spend time with their dad. And so having my new baby girl on April 10th, we recorded in the studio on the 7th. And then the 10th, she was born. And so, that's what it's about, like being there for your children, as a man, a father. And I thought it'd be good to create a music video to go along with this particular song, just to communicate the importance of family and being a man and a father and all of that, because that's very important. A lot of the issues, maybe all of the issues in our world, really comes down to the man, the father, and him being either absent or being present and not being present. It's a big responsibility for us as men and fathers, and it's a lot of work. So we definitely have to make sure that we're on top of our game and we're hearing from the right sources spiritually, and that way we can be able to protect our wives, protect our children, provide for them, and give them what they need spiritually so that they can be covered to avoid a lot of the issues that people would struggle with, from not having a father present, And so we look at that, we see a lot of that in our community, in the black community, fatherlessness, and we see the rebellion and the wrath and anger that the kids come up with just because they don't have an identity. And so what usually happens, the devil has created or uses these industries for these celebrities to be the role models, these artists to be the role models, and then the children take on the identity of these artists, and they want to be famous, they want to be out there. So, my perspective, my philosophy, and everything is different. I think that we should be, first and foremost, be who we need to be for our families as men and women. Of course, need to be more family oriented and have a desire to be married and a wife and mother. That's foundational. Now, of course, there's a lot of other doctrines and other perspectives really that comes from the world, and I believe how people have been programmed or conditioned. But when you have a biblical perspective, of course, it'll change your whole view. And that's the most healthy for me. That's the most healthy perspective that you can have, from having a biblical perspective. And so my position, is to share from that place and being influenced. If you don't like it, then don't subscribe, dislike, don't follow me, but otherwise, if you are into that, then of course, stay connected, stay connected, and I'll keep on sharing stuff and being a blessing. Now I'm about to go and get some dinner with my wife, and y'all check out that new single, leave a comment and let me know what you think. And we will indeed be back with you in another stream or another video. All right then. Peace.